winning music right now, and we hope that continues. Mike Brown, after practice, he spoke with the media, and he was asked a lot of different things. And one of the things he was asked about was the adversity that the Kings are going through at the moment, and this is what he had to say.
I like the adversity that we're going through, because if at the end of the day we can't handle this, then we weren't good enough anyway, in my opinion. I've never been I've been to 6 finals with 3 different teams, once as a head coach. And during the course of the season, I've never not experienced adversity that we had to figure out, because come playoff time, you will run into some. So during the course of the season, to be able to figure it out, find ways to get through it together will only help you in the long run. So I like all that. I wish we probably had a couple more wins, though, at this point in time. But there's still plenty of basketball with as good as we are as a team to dig our way out of where we're at right now.
Yeah, and how Mike Brown ended that is exactly how I feel. You don't necessarily have to lose 6 of 7. You don't got to go through that type of adversity. Okay, and that's what the Kings did. So now there's a difference between adversity and now you've just kind of tricked off the season, and they didn't get to that point, or they haven't gotten to that point. But there is a happy medium between, hey, all great teams, all championship teams go through this, but they might not necessarily go through this, where to the point where you're just scratching and clawing to get back to 500. So I love what Mike Brown had to say there. Of course, the Kings are moving in the right direction. This game tomorrow, and we're going to do the full breakdown as we do for every Kings game. But this game tomorrow is going to say so much about the Sacramento Kings. It really is. And I know I've said things similar to that before, but it's going to say so much about the Sacramento Kings because you had all this time off. Go check out SactownSports.com. Brendan Nunes, Frankie Cardicelli, they wrote a piece on the time off and being able to implement things. Mike Brown said they haven't talked about post defense since training camp, things they haven't gotten to talk about since training camp. And you're going up against a team who doesn't matter how much time they get off, they cannot stay healthy. All their guys are being mentioned. If their guys on the Pelicans are either not healthy, Zion and Brandon Ingram, or mentioned in every trade talk with Shams and Evan Siddery, everyone. Herb Jones, trade talks. Now you have CJ McCollum in trade talks.
DeJounte Murray just got traded, and now he's in trade talks.
DeJounte Murray, the whole organization is in trade talks. So this says a lot to me because you should win that game, but you should have won that game against the Blazers after you beat the Timberwolves. You should have won that game, a couple weeks ago when you lost to the Spurs. So to me, there are turning points within a season. And no, do I think that it should be that you got to lose 6 out of 7 and struggle the way the Kings have struggled to get there? No. But everything is, and we've said this before, when things line up for the Kings, they just turn the other way. Yesterday, when I was at that media event, there were a lot of food influencers, so they weren't huge on, a couple of them were huge on the Kings. And I told them, I said, they said, one of them said it was kids' night or whatever it was, and they had the Pelicans, and that was the only game they went to last season. All they wanted to do was see a beam. They hired a babysitter, the whole 9 yards. All they wanted to do was see a beam. That was a game they faced the Pelicans and lost by 50. And what I told them was, whenever there's a special event, just be very wary of that. Kids' night, Chris Webber in town, Jason Williams in town.
Chance to clinch the first playoff spot in 17 years.
Be careful. Just be very careful. But I don't want this to be the Kings moving forward. And this can't be the Kings moving forward if they want to get where they want to get. First segment, we talked about those teams where, hey, we want to get into the dance, and you never know. That was the Mavs last year, right? That was the Mavs last year. They made a couple moves. They kicked Grant Williams to the curb. Let's get in the dance and see what happens. They were a 5 seed, if I'm not mistaken. Get in the dance and see what happens. But if you lose games that you have no business losing, and fine, October, November, early December, whatever. But if you're continuing to do that in January, at the end of December, in January, in February, you will not achieve your goals. And that is not Allen Stiles saying that. That is De'Aaron Fox when he has been asked about it on any platform, on any media. He has said the same thing. So tomorrow night is an opportunity to buck that trend. Take care of business in a place you haven't won. The biggest thing the Kings are fighting tomorrow is Casper the Friendly Ghost. The ghost of losses past. It's not about who's wearing the Pelicans jerseys. It's not about the three-point percentage. It's not about what they do from the free throw line. It's about overcoming the ghost of the Pelicans past. Can you do that? And can you really start to turn this ring around? That'll be 4 out of 5. That'll be 3 in a row. 3 games you should win, but they haven't done it. Let's continue the conversation on how the Kings can get back in the right place. And our newest edition of Hustling Backwards, starring one Brandon Ingram. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
On the move, got so